Welcome back to Making Sense Conversations. This is one of those podcasts where I didn't have a plan for it, but I've just been feeling that like I'm a therapist, and I'm not a therapist because everywhere I go, I'm being asked sometimes to talk about it, money and relationships, or at some point the conversation ends up being in money and relationships. So I'm in these forums where it was going to be some nice topic about money, retirement planning, money in midlife. And then somebody asks a question and then we go on this tangent of money and relationships. And if you've been seeing me, not just on this podcast, on other podcasts as well that I've been featured on, it just seems to end up there. And the thing with money I like is because you can be doing all these nice practical conversations, but until you go deep down and figure out what's going on with people. So people are sitting in a session, yes, they're learning all these things, but they're like, you don't know the person I live with. So all these things are nice, but you don't know the person I live with. So money and our relationships. So money is always a symptom. It is never the disease. Money is what is connecting the dots to certain beliefs and patterns that you have had along the way. So just think, two human beings who did not know each other, meet, fall in love, get married. But they like each other and all that, but their money never learned to speak the same language. This is why you are brought up in different households. So because you are brought up in different households, you experienced different things with money. That led to a belief system about money, and it shows up in patterns. So as long as we are trying to fix a belief system using an action, it doesn't work. The action will always go back to base. What is the belief system? So what is happening in relationships? You've not learned your money language. Just look at your partner and ask, how did they grow up? Or ask them, if you're able to actually have the discussion, how did they grow up with money? And then men and women were socialized very differently, first of all, and then socialized very differently around money. So if you're having conflict, just ask, what is this really about? So what does money in your house actually mean? Let me give you an example. If it means control, that the person with more money is equal to more control, fine. A lot of houses actually work like that, whether it is implied, whether it is said, it's actually there. The person with more money has more control. That is fine and works for a while. Many times, traditionally, it has been the man who has the money. What happens when the woman starts earning more money? And this is what we've not been prepared for. Does the control then automatically shift to that? Because what money was made to mean in the house is actually the one with more money has control. Then it has led certain people to be at a disadvantage because they felt, if I don't have the money, I don't have financial decision making. So what you could actually both be fighting about is people want control. They want control over their own money. They want control over the financial decisions. They want to appear in control. They have believed, men have been told, you are the provider. So for some, that has meant control in this particular area. So what is it this about? So this is the magic formula. I'm not saying it is easy, but it is simple. In over 16 years of Centonomy, I have seen this work. Please agree as early as possible. And those who are watching this and it is not early, please agree on these three things. What is mine? Okay. What is yours? And what is ours? And hence, what is the infrastructure around that? So you earn your salary, I earn my salary. So is that completely mine? Is my salary completely mine? Your salary completely yours? And everybody's allocated bills that they should pay. That is a system. By the way, with money and relationships, there's no formula for everybody because you don't know people's relationships. You don't know where they're coming from. So never judge a person for how they have decided to conduct their money. There are some people who say they're happy and it is completely controlled by one person, but maybe that's not you. But you could say, okay, yours is this, mine is this, and ours is going to look like that. Does that mean we do joint investments, joint savings? That way you're actually starting the money discussion. And let me say why this is so important. It is understanding that everybody, since we were not born together, clearly we are married or we are going out, we are partners, it means there are things about you I will never completely understand. So you may have aspirations for your own life that I will never understand. So me having a portion of money that is mine, then I can do what I want with my aspirations. Somebody may never understand why I want to go scuba diving. So maybe what I should not do is make scuba diving somebody else's responsibility. That is mine. Yeah. So let me sort out that and let the other person have theirs. But as a family, they could be joint things we want to work on together. Children's education, where we go on holiday at the end of the year, long-term savings and investments. So that becomes ours. That's it. And there are people who say, us, we are 100% comfortable in everything being ours. For some, like me, I'll be like, that's too much information. Do I want a text sent to the both of us every time I'm out with my friends and we go for lunch? Should you know every cent I've sent? So with money, I also think sometimes too much information is actually not healthy. Now, when it comes to ours, how do you know it is ours? It means that the legal documentation, if it's a bank account, it has Mary and Joseph on the documentation. If it is land, it has Mary and Joseph, yeah? So anything that is outside of that cannot be ours. So if you're busy telling someone, I'm working for us, but the business is in your name, the land is in your name, please understand you have put through the person to exist in a perpetual cycle of doubt about it, that they have to hide, but that uncertainty and sometimes resentment is actually going to show up somehow. You must go on money dates or have money conversations. It doesn't have to be a romantic getaway. It could be, let's go for coffee in a setting where you can actually have a money conversation. Many of you watching this may never have done that, but you need to do it because it starts to teach you, you're now in standard 1 of money together, teach you how to actually communicate about money. The first time you do it, it is going to be the most uncomfortable thing in your lives, but it's got to be done. Then the next time, still uncomfortable, but gets easier and easier and easier. And along the way, that is always the formula, saying we're just here to come back and reestablish what's mine, what's ours, what's yours, what do we want to do together. It also allows people to actually say things have changed, salaries have changed, things have happened. How do we actually adjust? I find it sad that people break up because of money. We have given money the power to break up solid relationships because it's one of those things many of us were never taught to communicate. Everybody I talk to, it doesn't matter how old they are. I've just finished talking to a young man. Even the way we were brought up, money was not an open subject for many of us. You find people married that some it's an open subject, others it's a closed subject. They just don't know how to handle that conversation together. But it actually doesn't have to be that way. And please, if you are watching this and you are not the income earner, I want you to understand, and this falls on women a lot, just because you don't earn the income or you are not the majority income earner does not mean you have less of a right to financial decisions. Okay, it does not mean that. I also want to say something on behalf of the men because recently we've been in a lot of men and money conversations as well. Just because you are the man in this day and age does not mean that your job as provider means you handle all the financial responsibilities, including making women happy in any and every way that they actually want. That's also not your responsibility. So we need to learn to be fair to each other, understand each other. And money and relationships goes beyond marriages or intimate partnerships. It's also with families. It's just saying, what is the background to this? What is the belief system we're trying to change? What is the structure behind it? Can we give each other, parties, some level of independence? Can we agree on what the joint objective of this actually is? Just saving money and putting money aside and being told to do this and that for the sake of doing this and that is simply not going to work. Everybody, man or woman, you have a right to want what you want. I don't believe everybody should be told your version of a good life, my version of a good life does not work. It's just understanding, since we do live together and we are planning a life together, how does what you want, what I want, but what we both joint, how does that get done? Then money becomes a tool for that, but it is not the one driving the relationship, which unfortunately it has been. So I hope this short podcast, whether you're driving, whether you're watching me, share it with a friend, and some of these short tips may just give somebody the answer that you actually want. If you're wondering, Sheke, that sounds great, where do I start? It doesn't have to be the big things. You guys can decide, we are going to plan to buy a fridge, and that is where you plan. Don't worry about your retirement plan. You never talked about money, you want to deal with retirement today? No. Yeah, just let's buy a fridge. How does that work? Okay, I can see how you communicate. I can see the way. And it can be done. And the beauty about it is when people actually work together. When couples actually work together on money, it's fantastic because you're bringing sometimes two incomes together. You're bringing two sets of skills together. I have seen couples where I'm not the one strong in looking for investments. I may even be earning more of the money, but since I'm not the one strong in earning the investments, you take what I earn and then go and find the investments. It's just being fair on each other. It's also acknowledging there's unpaid labor done sometimes by both people, that there's certain things, the woman runs the house and there's a lot of unpaid labor that goes there. That still needs to be valued. Likewise, there are things that men do that sometimes is also not acknowledged. Yeah. So acknowledge those things as having value in the relationship and make your relationship your own. Please do not compare yourself with how others are handling it, because that's what works for them, or that's what they are pretending works for them. Yeah. And hopefully, even after just this short message, your relationship can be better off. And at the very least, money stops being where you are strangling each other. All the best, and continue listening to Making Sense Conversations.